protege. Do you consider yourself a protege? We hear a lot about mentors, mentorship, and mentoring. There are numerous books out there about how to become a mentor and how to be a mentor. But in order for there to be a mentor, there needs to be a protege. Now you can be both at the same time, but I believe that you must first learn to become a protege before you can become an effective mentor. So what is a protege? I naturally did what any competent speaker would do when challenged with a definition. Consulted the online dictionary. Actually, I just said, Alexa, what is the definition of a protege? She said, a protege is a person who is guided or supported by a more experienced or influential person, or one who is protected and trained, or whose career is furthered by one who is more experienced, influential, or has more prominence. That definition didn't really sit well with me because I didn't feel like it gave more insight into the characteristics of a protege. I felt like it just alluded to having a mentor. It was too passive. What does it look like to become a protege? To give you my definition of a protege and to help you understand how to be an effective protege, even if you're currently in a mentoring role, I want to share with you 3 big things that I learned as a protege when I was an intern in an intern-preceptor mentoring relationship during my dietetic internship back in 2005. As an intern, I wasn't really taught that I had an obligation as a mentee, which is what I was during all my internship rotations, as I had several different preceptors who served as my mentor during that 1 year. I guess I had sort of an entitlement mentality of, I already learned everything in the classroom, and I'm just here because this is the next step to becoming a dietitian, so just tell me what I need to do so I can pass all my rotations. Don't get me wrong, I knew I would learn some things. I just didn't know that it was my end of the mentor-protege relationship that would determine how well I learned. I had to learn to be an obedient learner, meaning I had to have a sincere willingness and interest and desire to learn. In other words, I had to make it my aim to seek out my mentor, not expecting them to pursue me. A teachable spirit is when you seek out your mentor, not when they seek you out. This hit me when I was getting together with another intern in my class to go over a case study. And I saw that she had extra study materials that I didn't have. And so I asked her where she got those study materials. She said that she had sought out time with her preceptor to go over her goals and expectations. And as a result, her preceptor had given her those study materials because she knew that they would get her closer to her specific goals. So my mentor isn't just going to hand me what I need to know. I need to ask. I need to be transparent. I need to be clear about what I'm needing for the mentoring relationship. In other words, I need to be an obedient learner. The second big thing I learned is that as a protege, I was going to be taught how to think, not what to think. Here's when I discovered this. Every time I was with my preceptor and we came against a decision that had to be made about a patient or in how to handle a situation, I would turn to her thinking that she was going to give me the right decision. Instead, she'd return my question with this question: what do you think? Then I was afraid I was going to make the wrong decision. But what my mentor explained to me was that it actually wasn't about a right or wrong decision or a right or wrong answer. It was about my thought process and how I came to that decision. Here's why that mattered. Because if my preceptor would have just given me a cookie cutter solution to every decision that I came up against, how could I expect to think on my own when she wasn't there? During staff relief, which is when I got to be a dietitian, toward the end of the internship rotation, and the preceptors take the day off, I had taken on a complex condition where I had to come up with the best diet plan that was most appropriate for that. I remember thinking, I'm so glad I learned how to think, because I was able to come up with the best decision on my own, versus thinking that my mentor had failed because, well, she didn't cover this specific situation. So my mentor isn't going to do my thinking for me. A mentor's greatest gift, outside perspective. And that perspective involves how to think. The third big thing I learned is that the best thing you can do to show your mentor appreciation as a protege is to grow. Now that doesn't mean that words of thanks or gifts of appreciation don't hold any weight, but this is what happened to me. I always like to write a card of thanks along with a small gift to give to each of my preceptors toward the end of the rotation. My last preceptor I was with her for a little bit longer than my other preceptors. So I remember finding out a few of her favorite things, and surprising her on my last day. When she opened her gift, she was very grateful, but she said something to me that stuck with me to this day. She looked up at me and smiled, and she said, "This is so sweet of you, but what I really want most is to see you grow and impact many more people." So in other words, the greatest measure of a mentor's success is a protege's success, not necessarily your words of gift or appreciation. Now that you have a better understanding of how a protege is the key to a great mentor-mentee relationship, as a protege, you need to take initiative for your own thinking, for your own learning, and seek out your mentor. And you need to take initiative for your own growing and pay it forward. That is my roadmap to becoming a great protege. Thank you.